Today we are going to be revisiting an old archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! That being the Jurrac archetype. We're going to be reacting to this video by TheDuelLogs. Jurrac, failed cards, archetypes, and sometimes mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh! Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. So, the reason why I would like to react to this video is because I used to run a lot of dinosaur decks back in the day. I remember trying to make Jurrac work and I couldn't, but if you're new to the channel too, I am a returning player. I quit the game a long time ago. The Jurrac cards escaped my memory a little bit, so I'd like to revisit this in this reaction video today.
Being a fire or dinosaur archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! In the early 2009s was horrible. Being both of these in 2009 was a cruel existence given to Jurracs.
2009, eh? And what's going on with the quality over here? Oh, it is in 1080. Oh, maybe not. Okay, thanks, YouTube. 2009, man. It's almost 2026.
Jurracs were the first official dinosaur archetype made in the Dual Terminal / Hidden Arsenal series. Their effects were simply based on being destroyed by battle and killing monsters by battle. A live by the sword, die by the sword mentality fit for fire-enhanced dinosaurs.
Yeah, and I guess it's a little bit more difficult to make that work nowadays, eh? Especially if you're have effects that come on the receiving end of something like that.
It'd be a shame if their effects were mediocre and the archetype was undersupported and linear. That'd be the only way this archetype would make the Failed Cards and Mechanics series, and boy did they achieve that.
Dude, I still really love the way the TheDuelLogs structures their videos, man. I love it. I think the channel says highly edited or something like that. Yeah, it is. It just looks so good.
So today, we're going to be enjoying learning about Jurracs and how they became one of Yu-Gi-Oh's failed cards and mechanics.
Which sucks. I've always loved the dinosaur cards, man. I need to look at a good dinosaur deck for the modern day. I'm playing, for those of you, if you're new to the channel over here, I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis guy. I used to be a Hat guy and Edison guy. Now I'm all about Genesis.
Jurracs debuted in Dual Terminal 2, but like many other Dual Terminal archetypes, they were widely introduced in Hidden Arsenal 2 alongside archetypes like Fabled and Naturia.
Oh, I miss the Fabled and Naturia, man. I tried to make Naturia work. My brother was a big Naturia player, but I loved the Fabled decks.
Those two archetypes had some solid cards to start their journey off. Jurrac cards were, say, a bunch of cards, and it's never good for your archetype to start their journey off as just a bunch of cards.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. They never really had anything that could really compete. I know you could mix a couple Jurrac things in with other decks, but I don't think that I've ever seen a Jurrac deck work, ever. Am I wrong? Am I just misremembering that?
Jurrac Protops is a level 4 monster that gained 100 attack for each monster your opponent controlled.
A fantastic effect right there. And this, oh, excuse me if you could hear that. My baby's sleeping. She's teething right now, and I have the monitor on. This was probably before, though, the XYZ era, right? 2009, yeah, it had to have been. So you can't even use that as a regular rank 4.
Jurrac Velo was a level 4, that whenever destroyed by battle in face of attack position, you could spell summon a Jurrac monster with 1700 attack or less from your deck. Monoloth was a level 3 tuner that could attack all monsters your opponent controls once each.
See, none of those effects are really all that great. Oh, face-up attack position Jurrac Velo. If it's destroyed by battle, you get a new one. It can't even just be set.
Jurrac Tyrannus was a level 7 that if you tribute one dinosaur, it gains 500 attack. And if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, it gains a permanent 300 attack boost.
Yeah, this would have been something that would have been powerful even before 2009, honestly.
Finally, Jurrac Giganto was a level 7 dinosaur synchro that needed one tuner and one or more non-tuner dinosaur monsters. While it's faceable on the field, all your Jurrac monsters gain 300 attack for each Jurrac monster in your graveyard.
That's a little bit better of a card, but even then, it's not that great for today's standards either. The Jurracs just don't work. I would love to see some support for them because I've always thought the cards were really cool too.
Its first wave really didn't give anything for Jurracs to work with. Out of all of the cards, Jurrac Velo was probably the only sound card with benefits.
I don't even know if I would consider that a good card at all, though. That's the thing. It's just it's alright. It's alright.
Floaters that had to be destroyed by battle were still playable in 2010. Outside of that, you had a level 3 tuner with a useless effect, a level 7 that the deck couldn't bring out quickly enough, a synchro that didn't warrant any play other than level 7 synchros like Black Rose Dragon.
Yeah, that's a thing too. Why would you ever pick that card over something like Black Rose Dragon? I know Dark Strike Fighter was banned for a long time, but a lot of people really like Dark Strike Fighter as well. I'm sure there's other level 7s that people would pick over that as well.
And Protops. Added in the mix of them being fire dinosaurs on top of a mixed bag of cards with random effects stomped on them, and you'd have a deck that no one would even look at. There weren't any great fire support for fire archetypes back in the early 2010s.
I always really liked the idea of it, though. I like dinosaurs. I like how they went the fire route with them, dinosaurs and the meteor and the volcano. I've always thought that was really interesting, and I would love to make a card art commentary video on these one day, but it's just unfortunately never really worked out because I would love to play this deck. I'm somebody who likes to play decks where I can also I don't know if this sounds odd or not, but also like appreciate the artwork of the cards that I'm using. That might sound dumb, but it's just who I am.
And dinosaurs didn't have any either outside of Fossil Dig. It wasn't like today's dinosaurs where you have cards like Miscellaneousaurus, Lost World, or Soul Eating Oviraptor.
I know these cards. I know Soul Eating Oviraptor. I don't know what Lost World does. Hang on. All monsters of the field lose 500 attack and defense except dinosaur monsters. Once per turn, if a dinosaur monster is normal or special summoned except during a damage step, you can special summon one Jurrac token. Dinosaur Earth level 1 attack and defense 0 to your opponent's field and defense position. While your opponent controls a token, they cannot target monsters in the field. Card effects except tokens. Once per turn, if a normal monster or monsters in the field be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy that many dinosaur monsters from your hand and or deck instead. That's a really good card. Not bad. Not bad. That would be helpful for dinosaurs.
Extend your plays further. No Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, no Super Evolution Pill, and no spicy text like Diagram and True Kings help build your board.
What the hell is True King Agmiamazud, the Vanisher? We gotta take a look at some fun oh, that's not even a dinosaur, is it? But we'll take a look at him sometime.
The best extender of the time was Gillosaurus, and there's no sane person who would love to get an extra bond on the board by letting your opponent special summon a monster from their graveyard.
Oh boy. I played this card in a deck, and I can't for the life of me remember what deck it was and why I would play this card. I remember this is like a first turn card. What deck? I played this in a deck. It wasn't unheard of to play this, but I can't remember.
Turn. Big Evolution Pill was also considered, but it cost you the normal summoning of your level 4 lower monsters just to smack a level 5 or higher Jurrac on the field.
I tried to make that card work so much back in the day, guys. That's even before 2009. I tried to play dinosaur decks. Could never really make it work.
Time you only had Tyrannus to utilize it. The best dinosaur at the time was Fossil Dyna, which went against what the deck was trying to do.
That's my guy.
Also, technically wasn't a dinosaur and was actually rock.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count. That's an anti-meta card. I was always a big anti-meta player back in the day. Huge anti-meta guy.
You can't attack a card against special summon in a deck that would like to special summon. Furthermore, it can't be understated how much Konami hated giving Hidden Arsenal Archetype spell and trap card support, and Jurrac didn't escape this unwritten rule. Overall, this archetype needed a lot of work, as did most archetypes cursed to come out in the Hidden Arsenal series.
I don't remember what else came out in the Hidden Arsenal series. I know like DeLorean, the Ice Dragon, or the Ice Tiger, or whatever the card ended up being called, but I can't really remember what else was there that didn't end up getting support.
So it was set on the back burners until the release of Hidden Arsenal 3.
Dude, it's so nostalgic taking a look at some of these packs. I love watching the DuelLogs videos so much, man.
Probably get one of the few solid cards in its archetype. In Hidden Arsenal 3, the archetype was given Jurrac Guabai, a level 4 dinosaur monster with 1700 attack. Whenever it destroyed a monster by battle, you could special summon a Jurrac monster with 1700 less attack from your deck.
I remember people using this for either tuners or synchros or XYZ summons. There was a card that ended up coming out that was pretty helpful that this card was able to get out, and I don't remember what that card was, unfortunately.
But it couldn't declare an attack that turn. This card ended up being a fantastic extender for this deck. Its ability helped you get monsters from your deck, including necessary tuner monsters. Though it wasn't the strongest at 1700 attack, Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time was slow enough for you to play cards that reduce your opponent's monster's attack power.
I was a big Burden of the Mighty guy. I've always liked that card. Dude, I'm also a big Moon Mirror Shield kind of guy. If you can have this bad boy Moon Mirror Shield, keep giving me the monsters. I know that card wasn't out, but I always think... I like playing things that reduce monsters' attacks.
Letting you incorporate cards like Shrink or Burden of the Mighty to make sure Guabai can climb over them. What makes this card even more critical to plays is the fact that it gave this deck more longevity than needed. Being able to XC summon with Guabai and another level 4 Jurrac you could summon from your deck with its effect.
Okay, so the XYZ cards were out. Now, was the Evolsaur, Lagia, and Dolka out back then? Maybe that's what I'm remembering people using it for. I remember playing an Evo deck, but I never used Jurrac Guaiba with it. I don't really recall, but maybe we'll get into it.
Giving you access to XCs like Utopia, Guabai was one of the deck's only stable monsters that was guaranteed to be run at 3 and never fall out of relevancy. Outside of that, the rest of the cards were a mixed bag. Jurrac Terra was a level 3 monster. If it's attacked, return the attack monster to the hand after damage calculation, and it gains defense equal to the return monster's level times 100.
Like old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, that would have been helpful, but even then, that's not even that great of an effect. I'm remembering why nobody ever played Jurrac cards.
Jurrac Iguanon was level 4 that returns one of your opponent's set cards to their hand if it destroys a monster by battle.
But why? Why not just destroy it? It would be a very good card, and it wouldn't be busted at all. If this card destroys a monster by battle, destroy a spell or trap card, or shuffle a spell or trap card back into the deck. Why does it have to go back to the hand?
Collaborators is a level 3 tuner that couldn't be destroyed by battle if you control another Jurrac monster in the field.
For the time, not bad. Not bad.
Jurrac Spinos was a level 7 dinosaur that gives a Spinos token to your opponent's side of the field in attack position when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard.
Okay, I don't remember. Was the Lost World card... Oh, he said... I believe the creator of the video said that Lost World wasn't out. I'm thinking of for what reason you would want the tokens over on the other side of the field.
Jurrac Titano was another level 7 dinosaur that couldn't be special summoned, and it can't be targeted by your opponent's trap card effects or monster effects. And once per turn, you can banish a Jurrac monster with 1700 attack or less to increase its attack by 1000.
That is much better. That's a boss monster. That's something worth the effort of getting out, especially back in the day when the Jurracs ended up coming out.
To round out the new main deck support, Jurrac Starco was a level 2 dinosaur that special summons 2 tokens when destroyed by battle. They also couldn't be used for tribute summons for anything except for Jurrac monsters.
I'm sure there were other ways to get it out, but I'm thinking like, okay, you could probably, what were the levels? Level 1? Yeah, you could use it for synchros. I'm thinking of Jurrac Waiba as well.
After Guobai, there wasn't a whole lot going for the deck. The level 7s were nearly unplayable. If you had 2 monsters in the field, they would most likely be used for a synchro summon, which in the 5D format was always the better play.
Yeah, I guess so, eh? Why would you get rid of your tokens for... I mean, but the Jurrac Titano card would be worth getting out. Can you just... I'm trying to remember what else was there. Oh, it says... Never mind. It just says on it cannot be special summoned. Why? I didn't even realize it said it the first time. So yeah, it might not even be worth the 2 tributes. It might always be better to get a synchro monster out. He's probably right.
As you didn't want to have to wait a turn to tribute summon a Jurrac monster. We must acknowledge that this deck relied on battle, meaning that effects that popped or banished your opponent's monsters meant that the turn would end with you pondering why you built this deck.
So then again, I see why the Gladiator Beast effects work. No, the Gladiator Beast... I was thinking the Gladiator Beast effects also happen when you are when you're battling. That's all the effects, but I guess it's like technically in the main phase too.
Without Guobai, your deck would stall and have no plays except normal summoning, setting other monsters. Your game plan was always to get to Guobai.
Yeah, you would always have to just like run a really trap heavy deck, which could work, but at that point you might as well run a different engine.
It be through drawing, Fossil Dig, or sending Velo to the upper room. This also confirmed that Jurracs were better at going second since their strongest plays were made by attacking your opponent's monsters. Jurrac Velfito would be the deck's brand new synchro.
I remember seeing this card, but of course he's going to end up walking through the effect over here. It's such a cool looking card too. Like I love the whole volcanic thing. I cannot wait to talk about this in a card art commentary video.
That only needed 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner dinosaur monsters. Its attack and defense would be equal to the original attack of the synchro materials used for its summit. If it attacked a face-down monster, you could immediately destroy it without flipping it face-up or applying damage calculation.
That is a much better card. The only problem is it's level 5, and you're probably not going to have it get any big bad attack points over there. This would be helpful, again, like the creator of the video mentioned. I'm sorry, I don't know the name behind the guy with TheDuelLogs. Something along the lines of Burden the Mighty, where you can make this the big bad monster on the field. This is a pretty good card in my opinion. Like, I mean, in comparison to everything that we've taken a look at and the time that it came out.
You could say this card was a decent addition, but it had a lot of setbacks, mainly because of what its archetype had to work with. For starters, it couldn't be made with Guobai involved since Jurracs didn't have a level 1 tuner yet. Making Velfito would mean you'd need a monster on the turn before sending up its synchro summon. To make it even more disheartening, Velfito combined the attack and defense, which came out to actually be pretty low.
Yep, that's what I was just thinking. Level 5. You can't use anything significant with it. You'd probably have to use a tuner and one of those tokens.
A level 5 monster, there's not a lot of synchro materials needed. Subsequently, the attack and defense could barely reach 2000 if possible. To summarize, Hidden Arsenal 3, Guobai good. Support, bad. Everything was based on either battle or being destroyed by battle. The support only had 2 archetype searchers, and the deck had no way to support its high-level main deck monsters and synchro monsters properly.
The problem with this, though, is I see the vision when you're creating this. You have these big dinosaurs. They're battle-ready. There's, like, the whole volcanic eruption thing. They have the meteors. Like, it's like dinosaurs on the assault, man. Dinosaurs going crazy. I see the vision for it. It just sucks that it never worked out.
Things weren't looking good for our dinosaurs, and with the direction they were trending, there was a high chance you'd end up like real dinosaurs and end up on the extinction list.
Ooh.
Hidden Arsenal 4 debuted in March of 2011. Jurrac would get its final significant boost in support to see if it could help the deck become playable, if not relevant.
I don't think it ever did because I don't remember anybody playing Jurrac. I remember sprinkling a couple Jurrac cards, like not me personally, but I remember people sprinkling some Jurrac cards in some decks, but I can't really think of anything.
The pack being called Trishulous Triumph, Jurrac players just hoped it wasn't their downfall. Jurrac Aleo headlines a new Jurrac support. It's a level 1 dinosaur tuner with 200 attack and defense. You could tribute it to target and special summon a level 4 lower Jurrac monster from your graveyard.
That's not bad. That's not bad. What else we have?
Jurrac
Golem
Golem
over
was
here.
a tuner with 1200 attack with an effect that when it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can destroy your opponent's monster who battled this card. Your opponent could discard a card, however, to negate this effect.
I feel like that's so unnecessary as well, though. Why not just have it destroy the monster that it battled with? That's not busted. That's not overpowered, especially for if we're talking about the... Yeah, so this was out during the Exceed era, excuse me. You have all these great synchros. You have all these great XYZ monsters. There's nothing wrong with not having a back, like nothing wrong with having no backside to that effect.
Jurrac Dino was a level 3 tuner that once per turn, during the end phase, if this card destroyed opponent's monster by battle, tribute 1 Jurrac monster to draw 2 cards.
This was much better. I remember when I tried making the Jurracs work, I always had this thing in, and it never really worked out as much as you would want it to.
Jurrac Hera was level 6, and when a defense position Jurrac is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand.
It's a little bit better because you can special summon it from your hand or graveyard. So this is worth having like one copy of, but I can see it being a brick quite a bit too.
A few positives were noticeable with this wave of support. Yugioh has 200 defense, making it a perfect target for rekindling.
Oh my god, I forgot about rekindling. Oh, the Flamvell Fire Dog, Flamvell Magician. Oh my god. I forgot how much people actually played that card back in the day. It's so nostalgic going through some of these.
A normal spell that allows you to special summon as many fire monsters from your graveyard as you want with exactly 200 defense. Add to the fact that the card was also a level 1 tuner, and you get a 1-for-1 target. A perfect recipe for consistency. Multiple Alios in the graveyard give you the possibility with rekindling to mount a late game board.
Were the Flamvell cards out? And I would imagine like you could put the Flamvell cards with a 200 defense too. I'm just thinking of Fire Dog and Magician, then you get automatically a level 8 tuner because it was like groundbreaking to have a level 4 tuner when Flamvell Magician ended up coming out.
Bringing back multiple Alios and using a whole bunch of rekindlings could end up with a lot of Jurrac monsters that you could swing with or establish heavy-hitting synchros to finish the game.
Yes.
Alio also saw more play outside of Jurracs when the new dinosaur support came out, as it was the only level 1 dinosaur tuner monster in the game to get off of Baby Ceratosaurus.
Hang on, what's Baby Ceratosaurus do? If this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon 1 level 4 lower dinosaur monster from your deck. I don't see the issue with that one. And I'm familiar with the card on the right, but I don't recall what it does. During either player's main phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. During this main phase, dinosaur-type monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's card-activated effects. You can banish any number of dinosaur-type monsters from your graveyard, including this card, special summon 1 dinosaur-type monster from your deck, with a level equal to the total number of monsters banished to activate its effect, but destroyed it during the end phase. Very strong card. Very good card. And would you run this bad boy with Tyranno Infinity? I don't know.
Delaniasaurus to give you access to synchros like Denglong, or
what the hell are those cards? Those aren't dinosaur cards, but I know they're probably powerful synchros. Huh. Oh, we can take a look at that. Denglong, first of the Yangzing. Oh, Yangzing sounds familiar to me. If this card is special summon, you can add 1 Yangzing card from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can send 1 worm-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. This card's level becomes the sent monsters. If this face-up card leaves the field, you can special summon 1 Yangzing monster from your deck. You can only special summon this card once per turn. Oh, it's a tuner too. I didn't even realize. Level 5 tuner. And the other one is another tuner, 1800. For this card synchro summon, you can treat 1 World Chalice normal monster you control as a tuner. You can only use each effect once per turn. If this card is synchro summon, you can add 1 World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. If this synchro summon card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 World Chalice monster from your deck or graveyard. So I would imagine it's just straight up to get something along the lines of a Shooting Star Dragon. Am I remembering that correctly? Was that the big or TG card? I'm thinking of the monsters that required synchro tuners.
For the banning of Denglong. Golem and Hera were decent additions, but could have been more impactful. Golem's effect was easy to vanquish by easily popping it by card effect.
Yeah.
And getting Hera to the field was only achievable by depending on your opponent to destroy your monsters in defense position.
I don't know. I don't see a problem with that one. That one I would run 1 copy of. It's not a bad card.
A position most Jurrac monsters would never switch to. Mind you that even if you get to summon Hera, it would still be your opponent's turn, giving them a chance to punch or pop Hera into Jurassic Park if they see fit.
Yeah, I guess actually he's probably right in saying that. Maybe I'm overthinking. Not that I said it was like a great card or anything. Just might be. I'd still put 1 in a Jurrac deck.
Furthermore, if we've been paying attention, almost every effect involves the card needing to be sent to the graveyard. A well-timed Macrocosmos or Dimensional Fissure put this deck in the Ice Age.
Oh yeah.
As none of their effects can go off if they don't hit the grave.
And now they're ritual monsters.
1 step forward, 3 prehistoric steps back.
Hey.
Or however the quote goes, Jurrac's inconsistent and strict policy of having to be sent to the graveyard hindered it in specific matchups. The last support piece was a level 10 dinosaur synchro.
That's the one I remember. When I think about the dinosaurs and the fire and the meteors, I think of... I don't remember it quite literally being called Jurrac Meteor, but I remember this thing coming out.
Meteor. Coming in with a whopping 2800 attack, Impact required 1 Jurrac tuner and 2 or more non-tuner dinosaur monsters. When it's synchro summoned, destroy all cards on the field. Then special summon 1 tuner from your graveyard. You would think having a Black Rose Dragon on steroids and prehistoric rage is welcomed.
You know what's funny is, like, what's the point of it even having a 2800 attack? I guess unless there's a particular situation where someone, like, I can't think of a card that negates effects off the top of my head. Is it infinite impermanence? I don't know, something like that. Effect Veiler, maybe. It's just funny, like, that an effect like that's non-optional.
As ridiculous as the card is, a few things turn this card into a no-go. For the many requirements it took to make a level 10 monster
not worth it.
The same effect as Black Rose Dragon, it made more sense to just make Black Rose Dragon instead.
Yes.
A tuner and a non-tuner will always be better than trying to get a specific tuner and 2 non-tuner specific monsters.
Yeah, why is that? That thing shouldn't be as difficult to summon as it is at all.
The upside of making Meteor didn't trump making the lesser, as Meteor's destruction effect wasn't mandatory. You didn't get to choose to use this card's effect. At least Black Rose gave you the option of the card being a new body on the board or a board wipe itself. Also, the return you get from the special summoning effect isn't great either.
Yeah, because, like, what great Jurrac tuner is there going to be out there? At least when I think about, like, Black Rose, I think about, like, a bunch of different effects activating from the graveyard. The Jurrac doesn't exactly have a ton to work with.
Relegating you just get a tuner monster and nothing else. Outside of this card's crazy design, it wasn't worth the materials and time.
But the design is very, very pretty on this card. Look at it. It literally is a dinosaur meteor. It's so cool. I love the spikes on the back, but at the same time, it's a meteor coming down. Very, very cool.
And almost 3 cards on the field to make this card. And then the moment it hits the field is when you lose it. The last piece of support came out 3 years later and was their only Jurrac trap support in Cosmo Blazer. Jurrac Impact was a normal trap card. If you control a dinosaur monster with 2500 or more attack, destroy all cards on the field.
There's the Jurrac Meteor on there too. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that again, guys. I think I mentioned it. My baby's sleeping right now and she's teething, so she's coughing a lot, and I'm not gonna have the monitor on there, so apologies for that. The Jurrac Meteor there again. You can't just. It's just funny to me. This thing coming in, nuking the field all the time.
Apparently, Konami thought that since putting Meteor on Lake sucked, maybe putting it on a trap card would do it justice.
Honestly.
And it didn't. Even with it being a trap card, needing a dinosaur with over 2500 attack to make it live meant this card could sit on your side of the field or in your hand for a long time.
Yeah, you could just use Torrential Tribute, you could use Dark Hole, Raigeki, depending on what format you're playing in.
Already in a deck that struggles to make big synchros turn 1 made it nearly impossible for this card to be alive. However, this card could be used in other generic dinosaurs, wiping the whole board clean and possibly getting back nothing in return.
That I actually do remember, though. I do remember some of these cards being sprinkled around in other dinosaur decks, but still, like, there was never really, while I was playing the game, there was never really anything like too concrete and strong when it came to dinosaurs.
Your opponent's turn is walking on razor blades. You'd have to know when to interrupt your opponent with this card and be confident they didn't have follow-up after wiping the board clean on both you and your opponent's side of the field.
But still, there had to have been something like Torrential Tribute. There had to have been something like Dark Hole that was always available. Why would you want this one thing?
The threat your opponent had must justify you getting rid of your 2500 plus attack monsters, or you'll end up looking just like a silly dude playing Jurracs.
It would have been better, and there would have been nothing wrong with the card if it had been like, hey, if you control a dinosaur type monster, 2500 or more attack, select that monster and destroy all other cards on the field.
Which you'd be if you were playing Jurracs in 2013. In terms of support, this wasn't the card Jurracs needed. More searchers, abilities to special summon, or even spell and trap cards that could help out in the battle phase would have been more befitting than putting Jurrac Meteor on a trap. This card saw no play, and neither did Jurracs around this time.
The big shocker right there. There's my man. There's my guy. I loved playing the evil decks.
Source had taken over as the new Primal Beings in the TCG, and were more consistent, had better support.
Oh, what am I talking about? There was no dinosaur deck while I was playing. This counts. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking about reptiles. I was thinking about the XYZ cards being dragons.
And had tech cards that could bring out multiple monsters like a Rescue Rabbit. So goes the history of Jurracs. Since they didn't make it out of the 2010s, I'm sure you knew it was a bad deck. The archetype was already given 2 disadvantages with its fire attribute and them being dinosaurs, as neither had good generic support in the early states of Yu-Gi-Oh! Except for Fossil Dig and Rekindling.
Has anybody ever been able to make a Jurrac deck work, or is there any modern deck that includes any sort of Jurrac cards at all? I can't really see it. Like, these cards aren't that great. There isn't one that was like, okay, all right, here we go, besides the one that lets you draw 2 cards.
The fact that most of their cards needed to go to the graveyard didn't help either. Adding high-level main deck monsters was useless, as the deck benefited from synchro summoning rather than waiting a whole turn to tribute for a monster with a subpar effect like Tyrannus. Not to say the synchros weren't a letdown too. The best one was Giganto, as it got stronger for every Jurrac in the graveyard.
Oh man, the other one on the right there would have, it had the most potential, but the more it stops itself once you realize it's level 5 and then you can't do anything with it. But the synchros like aren't bad for the time. It's just there's no way you're playing them nowadays.
But other than that, it was a beat stick to clear over other monsters. Felfido was only good for getting defense position cards out of the way, and Jurrac Meteor was gone before it even hit the field. It took everything with it, only to reward you with a tuner.
Yeah, remember that non-optional nuking effect right there.
Finally, barely any synergy put the nail in the coffin. Guobai seemed to be the only way to combo into anything successful. Being the only monster that could put itself in a tuner on the field meant most of your game would be Guobai swinging into something and trying to look threatening with 1700 attack.
And that's if you even get Guaiba. I'm sorry, I already forgot how to pronounce it. This is the if you get it, if you draw it, if you get any card that can search it out, which I can't even really think about anything that was searching Jurracs. It just sucks that it never really worked out, man.
And a format running Colute and Honest. This was just Guobai Daunt deck. And
that's true too. Yeah, you have to run into those things. It's like 1700 attack isn't really anything to write home about.
Any without seeing this card was a long day of pain being a Jurrac player. Overall, these dinosaurs were destined for the Ice Age. Even if you put the new dino support with Jurracs today, you'd find yourself completely removing Jurracs to play the new generic dinosaurs by themselves.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Even just look at like the text compared to the cards today and how little there is literally on each card besides like a couple synchro monsters. There's nothing crazy good about these cards at all.
They do all the things Jurracs dreamed of without the harsh drawbacks, and have better ways of extending plays and making better boards. We shouldn't, however, laugh at our poor dinos. They walked so Evilsaurs could run.
So true.
Evilsaurs rampaged into power creep so Konami could see dinosaurs needed help. So if any archaeologists dig up the dinosaurs buried in the cave somewhere, just respectfully leave them there.
Man, you know what? Like, I know I've said it a few times, man. This is one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh channels out there. You feel a lot of nostalgia. The music is perfect. It's very calming. It's the perfect thing to have in the background. And the editing for these videos is phenomenal. I can't imagine how much time these videos take.
They've earned their rest, and their place is one of Yu-Gi-Oh's failed cards and mechanics.
I love it, man. Very, very good. As always, please go show the TheDuelLogs some support in the pinned comment description down below if you happen to not be familiar with the channel. I would imagine you are if you're familiar with my channel, this tiny little channel talking about some cards. If you want to react to another TheDuelLogs video, then you can check out this video on screen right here. I'd love to have you over there. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care, guys.